All right, so this is my informative speech, and this is my audience of 8 people. Hi. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoy my speech. So today, what I'm going to talk to you about is dyslexia. Did you know that according to the Dyslexia Center of Utah, 70 to 80% of adults who struggle with reading are probably dyslexic? For something so common, for so many people, it goes unrecognized. For children, when dyslexia goes unrecognized, it's often later misdiagnosed as ADD or ADHD due to acting out because of their inability to learn. In my home growing up, I saw my brother, who struggled with dyslexia, struggle in learning environments and in social environments because he didn't fit in with everyone else. And when it came to reading, it made him angry, often towards other people because it was difficult for him. Luckily, my parents recognized this and were able to get him into a dyslexic reading class. And later, they put me in the same dyslexic reading class. In my study on dyslexia, I've learned that when children's dyslexia goes unrecognized, it can lead to long-term blocks and ultimately a fear of learning that can impact their future careers and future lives. My goal today is to inform as many people as I can about dyslexia and how we can help make a difference in someone's life starting in our own home. So let's talk a little bit about what dyslexia is. According to the Yale Center for Dyslexia and Creativity, dyslexia is an unexpected difficulty in reading in an individual who has the intelligence to be a much better reader. Reading is very interesting when we really actually think about what it is. We're associating letters and sounds in our minds and making words out of them, ultimately making sentences, paragraphs, and books. According to the Yale Center for Dyslexia and Creativity, people with dyslexia have trouble matching the letters and the sounds that they make. And when this step is difficult, everything else becomes much harder. From firsthand experience, I could tell you that sometimes reading, when you're dyslexic, seems like trying to speak a different language. It can be very difficult and frustrating. Dyslexia is not a lack of intelligence, but a problem in the brain that causes dyslexics to learn differently. Many very intelligent and successful people have dyslexia. Pablo Picasso, Tom Cruise, Bill Gates, Steven Spielberg, and my favorite is Albert Einstein. According to learninginfo.org, Albert Einstein failed to talk until he was 4 years of age due to a language disability, and he could not read until he was 9 years of age. Dyslexia has been a known issue for a very long time. In 1877, a German neurologist named Adolf Kussmaul coined the term word blindness for those who struggle to read and write. I kind of like that term because for me, when I'm reading and it starts to get difficult because of dyslexia, it almost seems like the words float off the page and start to move. Like not actually move, but become very difficult to comprehend because I don't know why, because of the way our minds work. And it almost comes across as being blind to what's on the page. In 1887, a German ophthalmologist named Rudolf Berlin first used the word dyslexia instead of word blindness. Dyslexia comes from the Greek word meaning difficulty with words, dys meaning poor and lexia meaning words. Though dyslexia has been a known issue, it wasn't until the year 2000 that research on dyslexia and ADHD started to really take place. The No Child Left Behind Act was passed in 2001 and implemented in schools to hold them more accountable for dyslexia and ADHD students. In 2002, Yale University used fMRI technology to show that dyslexics' brains function differently, especially during reading tasks. In 2005, Yale University identified a gene associated with dyslexia, and in 2015, the No Child Left Behind Act was repealed and replaced with Every Student Succeeds Act, which allows the state to be more accountable for their own goals and how they're going to help dyslexic and ADHD students. But we can make a difference in the lives of those close to us who may silently be struggling with dyslexia. According to the Dyslexia Center of Utah, 1 in 5 students, or 15 to 20% of the population, have a language-based learning disability, and dyslexia is the most common one. Because this struggle went unnoticed or helped, 62% of non-readers dropped out of high school. Left without early remedial intervention, the dyslexic children may develop lifelong learning blocks and a fear of learning, which can limit an adult dyslexic's career development. 20 to 25% of all adults can only read at the lowest level. These are problems that we can address and make a difference for the rising generation. There are many things that we can do to help our children. There are several things that we can do in our own home to help your children who struggle with reading. For some kids, it is easier to remember words if we use pictures to help them remember them. For many, the more senses that we engage, the easier it will be for them to remember word association and be able to pick up reading a lot faster. If we explore the history of the words, some kids may begin to be more interested in it. If we talk about where the words came from, how they developed, and make it interesting for them, they'll pick up on it a lot faster. Ultimately, it takes a team to diagnose and help children with dyslexia, though. So if we bring it up to our children's teachers, they can get them the help that they need. They can get them the testing that they need. And then together, between you and the school district, the teachers, the guidance counselors, they can support your child and help them get the best learning experience that they can while in school. To sum it up, it is important that you understand and help those struggling with dyslexia, that you help them understand that it is not a lack of intelligence. When I was growing up, I felt stupid. My brother, he didn't feel very smart either. And it's important to know that it's not a lack of intelligence, because then we can feel motivated to learn just like if we feel like we are not as smart as everybody else, then it becomes more frustrating. We feel belittled and singled out, and we just don't want to participate in it. So I hope that this information has helped some of you whose children may be struggling with dyslexia, or those of you who yourself may have wondered why it is so difficult to learn, read, self-motivate, or think the way others do. Our brains are just as intelligent, they just work differently. Thank you.